for May the 14th, 2019 to order. If you'll please rise, we'll give the invocation and pledge led by me. Bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the blessings you bestow upon us and our community. Please be with us as we make decisions tonight that affect these children. Please be with our students, our teachers, our staff, our faculty, our cabinet members, everyone involved in our system as we move to the end of the year and to a safe and happy summer. We please bless our folks that are overseas, protecting our freedoms and give us the rights and abilities to be here and witness for you tonight. We ask these blessings in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll bring us down to inspiration, Dr. Cole.
Thank you, Chairman Mansell. Our inspiration tonight is provided by Goodyear Elementary, so I'll turn it over to Dr. Dawson.
Good evening, everyone. Goodyear is here tonight just to remind us that we are at the end of the school year. We are so excited that we had an opportunity to again change lives of students and families, and more importantly, give our students a second chance to show and to glow in areas that may not necessarily come about during the school day. So we're here tonight to share a little bit about Goodyear with all of you.
Marlene Steppers.
To see you be successful students, and so if you do this kind of stuff, this is trying to encourage you to do the right thing so that you can become a great reader, because one skill that you're going to need for your whole life is going to be reading.
The hippocampus helps you learn new information. The brain prefrontal cortex helps you pay attention. The amygdala helps with your emotions.
Where are you going to put your clip on? Where are you going to put the clip on? Say again? Ooh, I like that one. Where are you going to?
Effort.
Effort. All right. Well, can you put your clip on the ones you're going to work on? I can't wait to see you doing grit and effort. Thank you, gentlemen. So why have you guys been getting dog food, cat food, and pet toys?
So that the animals on the street can live where they don't have a short life where they can just stay like we can. The mission of Goodyear Elementary is to create an environment where every child has a healthy atmosphere about learning in each other.
So again, we just wanted to say thank you again because our babies at Goodyear deserves a second chance, and we try to offer that to them every day. Happy end of the school year. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And so our babies deserve a second chance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Goodyear. Our spotlight, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Tate.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First up, we have Brunswick High School senior and key club member Cameron Jones, who is the recipient of the Hayden SLP Student Leadership Medallion. This award is given to a student who demonstrates outstanding service leadership. Though she is unable to be here tonight, I wanted to read the nomination letter that was written by Mrs. Groover and Mr. Mike Parrish with the Brunswick Kiwanis Club. Cameron Jones has shown her ability to be a good leader in many ways. First, she is a good listener to her peers. She is always willing to listen to what they have to say and answer any questions they may have. Second, she has been willing to step up and take on responsibilities. If it is a new task, she is willing to learn and give her best. Cameron not only has a heart to serve her community, she serves her peers in their time of need. She led our club's Single Serves project this year, which we were awarded our club's first place achievement at the Student Leadership Conference. Through her leadership, we raised $500 in honor of a Brunswick High student who died this school year and had the money donated to his favorite charity in his honor. Cameron has all of the characteristics of a young adult leader. Her willingness to serve, coupled with her courage to step out of her comfort zone to develop and implement new community service projects and activities, demonstrate her compassion for others and the desire to build community relationships. Tonight we have Ms. Groover and Mr. Mike Parrish here to tell you a little bit more about Cameron.
Good evening, everyone. Cameron Jones, my letter says it, she's a very outstanding young lady and continues to be a positive role model. She graduates this year, so I'm elated to know that she will be moving on to do bigger and better things. She just shared with me today that she is looking to try to start the Circle K over at the college because they don't have one. So I told her I would help her as much as I can, and but that just shows her leadership and her ability, her willingness to step out and do things that out of her comfort zone. So that's a little bit more from me about Cameron. You want to talk about the award she received?
I can, sure, I'll be happy to. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Parrish. I'm this year's president of our Brunswick Kiwanis Club, and hopefully you know a little bit about us, maybe bought a Christmas tree from us every year that we've been doing for 50-plus years, and may have recently brought a bag of onions from us. We have one member that sold a couple of 1,000 pounds of onions, so God bless them. But everything we do in the Kiwanis group is for the young people such as Cameron, and we appreciate any and all support if you've given our club. Though I've only been a member for a few years now, I moved to this community just a few years back. But the Hayden Award was originally established by a Kiwanian back in 2016. It was started by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Mel Hayden, who was a Georgia Kiwanian for over 20 years. He promoted the spirit of service leadership among the Kiwanis youth in our community, and basically had three primary things: a heart to serve, a call to lead, and a courage to engage. And I think from Ms. Groover's her experience of working with Cameron, and certainly the award itself, I think we were very pleased to learn of this, and glad to be of help with her as a student, and certainly with the Key Club in our involvement. So thank you for your time this evening.
And here we have a certificate of excellence that we will be giving to Cameron on Ms. Groover's behalf.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, next up, we have Griffin Lee and Emily Grace Weaver. Earlier this month, Glynn Middle School 8th grader Griffin Lee was announced as a National PTA Reflections winner, having earned a $200 Young Artist Scholarship, a silver medal, and a certificate of excellence. His work will be featured in the National PTA's traveling exhibition next year. In addition to Griffin, Brunswick High student Emily Grace Weaver won at the state level for her artwork titled Look Within, which will be the image for next year's Georgia PTA Reflections poster. Tonight, they are here to talk more about what inspired their pieces. Come on up.
So I'm here to read my story today. The theme of this year's PTA Reflections was Heroes Around Me, and my work is titled Aurora Borealis. Fire was never enough. There are always parkas, inner parkas, blankets of hide, special huts, igloos, polar bear skin teepees, hides, water repellent sealskins, and caribou fur. The difference between sealskins and caribou fur was huge. Sweat could kill in the Arctic, and caribou fur could make you sweat and subsequently freeze or dehydrate yourself. It was reserved for the far, far north. Sealskin was water repellent. It was lighter and looser, easier to carry around for protracted excursions and journeys. Of course, that was so long ago it hardly mattered anymore. Nowadays, all one needed to stay warm was a North Face jacket. Felipe lived in the Nunavut territory of northern Canada. At 14, he was mature for his age. He rolled out of his bunk, and his feet fell onto the floor with the heaviness of an elephant, of which he had only seen pictures. The quotidian sounds of the morning greeted him like two bones being ground up next to each other. An onshore breeze caressed the diminutive village, but also carried with it the unmistakable sounds and smells of the outside, the stench of diesel fuel, the barrage and clamor of myriad snowmobiles, the cacophonous village generator. Felipe groaned with a groan heavier than the combined weight of all the snow and all the mountains out their front door. He abhorred those smells and sounds. They did not belong on the sequestered coast of his Inuit village. Felipe sauntered outside and grabbed a chunk of seal meat from the community icebox for his and his father's breakfast. He got back, took out his ulu, a short, curved knife, and cut the vermilion, blubbery meat into strips. He put the pan atop the diesel stove and began to cook the seal. The smell soon saturated their abode. The pleasant aroma soon awoke Felipe's father, who then yawned prodigiously. His back creaked and popped as he stretched to get ready for the lethargic day, all of which would be spent in the cramped 20 feet by 20 feet government house. Felipe, morning, Felipe's father mumbled. Felipe could only make what he said because he made the same hungover mutterings every morning. Why can't he stop drinking? Felipe ruminated. He was doubly perturbed because the drink came from the outside and because it was deleterious to his father. Felipe's father, reaching over, took the ulu and cut a piece of seal off and swallowed. Meat is good for a sick stomach, he chortled. No one chooses to be sick, Felipe thought to himself. You're not sick. He had a few moments of pensive thought before he could think of the right words. You're poisoning yourself. The words came to his mind like a buoy racing to the surface after being submerged at the nadir of the Arctic Sea. They took a while to come up, but when they did, it took gargantuan floodgates to stop them from being said aloud. I've noticed something's been wrong with you, Felipe's father remarked. Why are you so down? Atata, Felipe started. Atata meant dad in Inuqua, the language of the Inuit. Why do you do this to yourself? Is that what you think of me, that I'm just a drunk? Felipe could tell some of the liquor was still in his system. Felipe could not hold the anger in. It felt so good to let it out. Yes, I think you're a worthless drunk who... His father's voice was now a scream. Felipe, you don't know anything. You don't know what I've been through. The only thing I don't know is why you can't be like Panook or the old tribesmen. Why can't you be one of the heroes who hunts the old ways and honors our people? I never even had the chance to learn the old ways. You don't think I wanted to, his father yelled with a countenance so sour. Felipe turned and walked out the door. It had snowed the night before, and the entire scene reminded one of an unfinished painting. So much of it was still white, as if waiting to be colored by the artist's adept hand. Nevertheless, in Felipe's eyes, there were countless blemishes. Snowmobiles littered the streets. Red cans of gasoline were laid out in front of every house. Guns resting on the walls of pitiful houses were an eyesore. To Felipe, it was as if someone had committed sacrilege on a beguiling piece of artwork as a cruel joke. The blasphemy lit a fire of vexation in Felipe. Felipe trudged until he was in the farthest outskirts of the village. In his right hand was a bag with the back strap of a caribou, the tenderest, best cut of the meat. He was to give this to Panook. After all, Panook was the oldest of the village, the wisest. Albeit they did not have chiefdoms anymore, Panook was the de facto chief of the village. He depended on the others for food and often received some of the lesser cuts of the meat. No one revered elders like they did in the old days anymore. Felipe reached the government abode. Outside was a team of huskies, sled dogs. They were the only huskies left in the village and the only ones Felipe had ever described. They were beasts of inordinate strength, of Herculean power. Felipe walked inside and found the room coated with hides and the air thick with burnt seal oil. "Felipe," Panook exclaimed, old and confused. "Is that you, Felipe?" "Yes, it's me, grandfather." Felipe called Panook grandfather, even though he was not related to him. Panook had told him to call him this. It was the way of the old times, the before time as Felipe thought of it. Felipe sat down next to Panook. "Panook, I don't know what it is, but Felipe paused, clearly upset. What could be wrong?" Panook croaked. He let out a hacking cough and cleared his voice. "You have snow machine, you have food, you have clothes." "That's just it, Panook. I mean, grandfather. I feel like something's missing. In this life, I mean. I want you to teach me the old ways. Teach me how to hunt, how to run dogs, how to live." "Felipe, I'm sad too. I miss the old ways. The days when we had purpose, had meaning. I miss our songs, our people. We've lost our ways. We have lost ourselves." A long pause. "Felipe, let's go hunting. The old way." In less than an hour, Felipe was on the dog sled. Felipe's gloved but icy hands clung to the cedar and whalebone handrail of the traditional sled. Felipe stood atop the footboards, trying to stay balanced. Soon, Panook hit the claw brake, and the sled ceased in its movement. He had seen what Felipe had not, a flock of rock ptarmigan, or akikik, nearly imperceptible in the ample snow around them. Felipe instinctively knew what to do. He took an arrow out of his quiver from the back of the sled and slid it into the notch of his bow. He hurried and pulled the arrow back. It shot across the field faster than he could see, but did not graze a single feather. Panook leaned down to Felipe's ear and whispered, "Don't look at the center of the bird. Look at the center of the center. Know that it's the bird's time to perish." Slowly, slower than the glacier's march, he pulled it back. He looked at the center of the bird. In an instant, faster than a lightning strike, the arrow flew across the field. The bird fell slowly onto its left side as if falling asleep. Felipe and Panook were now racing parallel to the ocean, where the interminable ice met the endless sea. When Felipe looked out to the gelid water, he could not tell where the cloudy sky ended and the ocean began. It was a scene not even the most peerless artist could paint if he tried for years. They stopped and set up camp. A fire was lit, and they laid out sleeping bags made of sealskin. Up above, the wind died. The cold held its chilling night clarity, and the northern lights came out to dance. They went from red to green and back again. They moved in great pulses of jubilation and rippled the heavens. The stars got caught in their elaborate ebullient dance, and the constellations were moved around. They were perpetually changing from one vibrant hue to another. Streams of emerald green twirled between the copious stars. The river of brilliant, pure color flowed to earth to meet Felipe and Panook. "You know," began Panook, "our people used to say the northern lights were heroes of the earth who had transcended heaven and become the lights, dancing and inspiring others to do acts of greatness." "Felipe, do you know what my name means?" "No." "It means keeper of his people. Do you know how it feels to fail your own name?" "What do you mean, grandfather?" "I need you to understand something. I remember the days when we sung our songs, worshipped our gods, and ran our dogs. Then came change. They said our songs were bad, our gods false. But they also had weapons, coal, food, tools. I did what I thought was best for us. I thought it would help us survive. I thought I was helping our people, that I was to be a hero among those in the Aurora Borealis. Now our songs are not sung, our culture lost, our people lost." Panook's voice was now crumpling in his throat. "Now almost," he faltered, "now almost none of us live. We exist, that is all." "So you led us to the outside ways?" Felipe's head was spinning. "You're not who I thought you were. You're no hero," Felipe shouted. "I'm not, but heroes are all around us, Felipe." Felipe, ashamed for Panook, crawled under his sealskin. A few hours passed. Felipe still agonized in and out of sleep. Eventually he realized he had been too caustic to Panook. Panook had done what he thought would protect his people. He had done what he thought was right. He had made the harder choice. It was harder to embrace the new than cling to the old. Perhaps Panook was a hero, and perhaps he was being hard on his father too. His father's generation was the first to be denied their culture. "Grandfather," Felipe called. He sat upright but saw no one. The fire had long since met its demise. Felipe lit the seal oil lamp. He stood. "Panook, where are you?" Panook's parka and lamp lay nearby. He discerned tracks in the snow. Barefoot tracks. Why is he barefoot? He followed the tracks assiduously. The night was calm. I can find him. However, something petrified Felipe. The tracks stopped. They just stopped. He knelt, hopeless, and looked to the sky. Up above, the northern lights still danced. However, something incredible transpired. The verdant plain sliced through the sky, flowing over Filippi's head. He felt as if he was a minnow gazing up to the top of the river for the first time of his life. There was a new ribbon brighter than the rest, a wavering light gold. Filippi felt he knew who it was, Panook. Filippi sat at the camp, ruminating over what had recently transpired. I don't need to look backwards to the old ways. I need to look forward. I need to be a hero instead of needing one. I'll help my father as Panook helped me. I'll help my people as Panook helped them. A hero cannot always make the best decisions, but a hero always tries. There are heroes all around me, he thought. It's time for me to be one.
I think we just found the ending to Game of Thrones. That was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And next up, we have Emily Grace Weaver here. She's going to talk a little bit about her poster.
The title of my artwork is called Anyone Can Be a Hero. I was inspired to create this because there are so many different types of people in the world and different types of cultures and people who enjoy different types of things. And I think it's important that all of these people are noticed as important and that no matter who you are, anyone can be deemed a hero in anyone's eyes. So I really enjoyed making this, and I'm very happy I was able to present it and that I was able to be recognized. Thank you.
We have a certificate for both of y'all. Here you go, Emily. So where can I buy that book? Great job. Thanks. All right. Next up, we have our Student Advisory Council. Tonight, we have April Stevenson, Alyssa Heinmiller, Riley Letson, Abigail Carter, Joan Job, and Shaheem Johnson with the Student Advisory Council here to present a year in review of their community projects they took part in and outline some of the topics they discussed at their monthly meetings.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I am so excited to be here because we finally completed our second full year in force and going, and we've made lots of improvements. Some we're really happy to see go in place, such as the Stop Me app and so much more. The student advisory has been like a huge impact this year, and our students, they loved it. We even extended it so that we actually got our questions that we submitted from our student body this year. So they really love that, hey, the board actually is hearing what we're saying. Hey, the superintendent's actually hearing what we're saying. Or how can I get involved with that? Because this is really cool because I like to have my voice heard. Many different things we've done this year. We've actually implemented a school award, which is called the Extra Mile School Award, which April right here has two of their trophies that we give to the principals to present in their office for the entire school year. Our leadership team decides on who gets that based on what different activities or dedication type things or awesome events that has happened throughout the school year. We've just actually announced our 2019-2020 Extra Mile School Awards. So those schools are really happy, and we felt they were very deserving. One thing I do have, since we weren't able to come see you all on School Board Appreciation Week, we all have cards for our board members. It has like a little written word to each of you from us, just giving you thanks for all you do and everything. So I'll just... And so first we're going to have one of our middle school representatives. She's going to speak to you on her experience of the student advisory. She actually is going to be one of our younger leadership members next year. She's going to serve on our activities department, which will help with a bunch of incentives we do, such as the book drive, as well as the Dear Freshman Letter. If you've never heard of that, the Dear Freshman Letter is where we welcome the upcoming freshmen into the school year by handwritten letters. Instead of them being typed, they're personalized just for those students instead of having something typed and students get it the same letter. They're all different. And I'm happy that we're going to get about 60 of those tomorrow from Brunswick High. So.
Hello, my name is Riley Letson. I am in the 6th grade, almost 7th grade at Risley Middle School. I've really enjoyed my time at Risley and being able to represent my school. Some benefits of being a part of the Student Advisory Council is I know more about what's happening in my school system. I know important dates and I can see changes in the school system. I can also use different ideas from different schools for mine and my school's benefit. For this reason, I am more aware of my teachers. For example, I am more aware if my teachers are truly teaching or not. Some things I would like to see come out of the Student Advisory Council is more school-specific questions, such as, how is your school and staff? I would like to hear more about issues with students at different schools and let them know they have a voice. The schools and teachers need to be more informative about the Student Advisory Council. The Student Advisory Council has given me a voice to make a difference. I have had many benefits from the Student Advisory Council, and I would like to see more changes that I have mentioned above. Thank you.
And next we'll have our high school representative, Abby Carter, who will serve as our middle school liaison officer.
Good evening. My name is Abigail Carter. Oh, sorry. My name is Abigail Carter, and I'm an officer on the council, and I would just like to thank the board on behalf of Student Advisory for incorporating us into your schedule. That means a lot. Appreciate your willingness to, hear us out. And I just want to share on my experience that I've had throughout the past year. So the Student Advisory Council has just been a great way for me to use my voice. It's been a great outlet. As a person who would like to promote change, especially in the school system and just in our community, it has given me an avenue to do so. It has given me a way to help find solutions to the problems that I see in and outside of my sphere of influence. As someone who would like to be an aid to their teachers and their peers, I no longer feel helpless when I see issues arise because I know that meetings I can come here and present what I see and the issues, I have a way to communicate my concerns that I have for the people in our school system. And since I've had this opportunity, I no longer feel distance from the board. I feel listened to and heard. So I appreciate the council a lot and how the board has worked with the council to help listen to the students. So there's not a divide, because I feel like sometimes in the students' mind there can be a divide between us and you. But I know that you have our best interests at heart. So I'm excited to see what is to come in the coming years of the council, and I just appreciate you guys letting us have a voice. Thank you.
And next we have a video clip that, because last year all we did was, PowerPoint. We just actually want to give y'all a view of what the Student Advisory is actually about and what all different events we've had. It's been an amazing year, as I said before, and we've implemented a lot of different things, and we would like to continue to implement a lot of different things. So here you go. And one more thing, many of you know that the student advisor has a student superintendent, which is pretty much our main communication person with the superintendent and the other administration, besides our assistant and my position as well as student director. So this year, every year we choose a senior. This year we chose Job. He's a senior at Brunswick High, and have done a phenomenal job as being our student superintendent. Actually, one of the people that actually helped me create this council along with other students. So I'd just like to, with Dr. Cole has the trophy that we have gotten together and got Jones, just like to thank you for all you have done for the advisory council and wish you on the best of luck on your next chapter.
I'd like to thank you as well, Shaheen. It's a pleasure.
Sorry I missed it.
Well, lastly, we have Mrs. Michelle Sills, our staffing manager, here to acknowledge an outstanding group of educators and future leaders in Glynn County Schools, our aspiring leaders. As a bit of background, the Aspiring Leaders Program was designed to equip teacher leaders for school and or district leadership positions, and it is open to anyone who wants to apply. So here we have Miss Michelle.
Good evening. Dr. Cole, Mr. Mansell, Board of Education Chairman, and members of the Glynn County Board of Education administrative staff, good evening. Thank you for allowing me the honor of recognizing the members of the 2018-2019 Glynn County Schools Aspiring Leaders Cohort. Recognizing the importance of building capacity in our current staff and future need for building and district leaders, this venture began this year at the request of Dr. Cole. After an application and recommendation process, members of the cohort were selected. Participants include classroom teachers, instructional lead teachers, and instructional coaches who desire to grow and learn more about what being a leader in Glynn County Schools means. Under the direction of Mrs. Debbie Bennett, Executive Director of Human Resources, the cohort began in the fall of 2018. Each participant being recognized tonight has presented a chapter of the 360-Degree Leader by John Maxwell, attended school council meetings and a Board of Education work session, shadowed a current Glynn County Schools administrator, and attended cohort meetings where current and former Glynn County Schools administrators provided leadership insight. Each of these instructional leaders have already made an impact at their current schools. It is our hope that they have gleaned nuggets of information that will aid them as they continue their journey in educational leadership, even beyond tonight. I would like to thank Dr. Cole, Mrs. Bennett, and Dr. Shelley Nelson for your support of this initiative. Tonight, we will be recognizing the following, and if you would, please stand, come over, and then when we're done, we'll go to the hallway for our picture. Mr. Stephen Brooks, Altam Elementary School, Dr. Rhonda Everett Brown from Risley Middle School, Shantae Butts, Brunswick High School, Leah Ellingson, Sterling Elementary School, Patrick Ellingson, Brunswick High School, Marie Fiesel, Glenn Academy, Michael Farah, Glenn Academy, Alicia Flowers, Burroughs Millette Elementary School, Jared Goff, Jane Macon Middle School, Heath Horton, Glenn Academy, Stephanie Levy, Golden Isles Elementary School, Warren McClendon, Brunswick High School, and Kim Watford from Satilla Marsh Elementary School. Unable to be with us tonight are James Horton from Risley Middle School, Don Ketchum from Risley Middle, Zania Laws from Brunswick High School, Sloan Malloy from Glenn Middle School, Sherry McRae from St. Simon's Elementary, Chandra Moran from Brunswick High School, Lauren Nelson from Golden Isles Elementary School, and Megan Paul. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that concludes my portion of the spotlight.
Down to the citizens address the board portion of the meeting. I have a quick preamble to read. Board of Education has adopted a policy that permits citizens under certain circumstances to address the board.
Can you speak up a little, please?
Give it a second. This is 8. All right, the Board of Education has adopted a policy that permits citizens under certain circumstances to address the board on a variety of topics of general concern to the operations of our schools. We welcome visitors to the board meetings and are interested in hearing from our taxpayers and the patrons of our school system. We have a few simple rules for public comment. Each person wishing to address the board must sign this roster. Each person is limited to 5 minutes, and the public comment portion of the meeting will not exceed 30 minutes. Any citizen who has a specific complaint involving an employee must first address this issue with the superintendent, and if not resolved, they may request to speak with the whole board. However, certain matters involving personnel and students must be heard in closed session. The superintendent will inform you whether your complaint is one which should be referred to an executive session with the board. By signing this sheet, you are agreeing to abide by the rules. I will repeat, we've got a pretty good bit of folks signed up this evening. So each person has 5 minutes, and the entire portion of the meeting will not exceed 30 minutes. Our first person up to speak tonight is Mr. George Metz.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is George F. Metz. I'm a retired major of the Marines, and I had from May of '69 to July of '89 in the Marine Corps, active duty and as a reserve. I'm here for the support of the Master Sergeant that was in charge of the Marine Corps JROTC. I have a little bit more background for myself with that. I served as an instructor with Major, wait a second here, Don Hanks, I'm sorry, from 2000 to 2005, and we took a group of cadets up in 2003 for a week up at Paris Island. So I'm very familiar with the program at that point in time. Master Sergeant has done a very good job, in my opinion. I got to work with him. I was fortunate enough to work with him on 3 things. 2 of them with the Marine Corps League. And we have a golf tournament for 26 years, and I worked all 26 years of them. And for 18 years, we got a color guard from the Marine Corps JROTC. And for 12 of those years, approximately 12 of those years, there was a Sergeant Major Carter, who was a very outstanding Marine, and he was a Sergeant Major at all point in time. And he furnished, and assisted furnishing that color guard. Well, the Master Sergeant did the same thing. Unfortunately, we were supposed to have had the tournament in November. Due to the lack of participation, it was canceled, and we had it this past April. And the color guard was outstanding. I got a plaque for them, and there was Marines, from Kings Bay that came up, and they were there to assist individuals on our hole-in-one. And it'd be an insurance policy, and if you paid them $5, they shut up. And before they did that, what they did, they posted and retired the colors, the color guard, which was outstanding. And when they left there, the color guard went to a parade. But their military bearing, their movements, military movements, everything, their enthusiasm was outstanding. And it was a reflection on Glynn Academy High School, and it was definitely a reflection on the Marine Corps JROTC and the United States Marine Corps. When someone is wearing, that uniform, even if it has cadets, it has the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor on there, it is representing the United States Marine Corps. And he did a very outstanding job, getting them ready. Likewise, he got, the students ready for, their classes and for 5 to 7 months, I believe, he was by himself doing this, which was very difficult. Also, worked at a slight part in, the award ceremony. That was the 1st of May, and went off exceptionally well. Too bad there was not more participations from the veterans groups, but the Marine Corps League was well represented because I was there, fortunately and unfortunately. One thing that you're going to be looking for, and that you already have, and what you've had in the past, and you have with the Master Sergeant, are Marine Corps qualities. And they get this out of the guidebook for Marines. And it's very simple. Every Marine, gets this from, we started more than likely in 1775. Somebody wrote down these things, and, it's a tradition. And in the Marine Corps, tradition and history is in concrete. Okay? It is set. And, there's 14 of them. And it's not like something you can, go down to the PX and buy, and you're not going to inherit it. You got to work on these. They have schools you go to, just like other teachers have schools, and they go to learn, these leadership traits. And the first one is integrity. Integrity is one of the most important things. If you're not honest and truthful, you're not going to be in the Marine Corps. Likewise, he shouldn't be, involved in the Marine Corps JROTC. Evidently, he had that. The next one is knowledge. He had the knowledge to pass on, the Marine Corps traditions and the historical aspects of the Marine Corps. And there are other aspects, courage. It's kind of difficult to show courage, but the man had courage when he was on active duty and what he did. Decisiveness. He made a decision. He follows through with it, and he got it done each and every time. Dependability. He was very dependable. If he took on a task, took on a mission, it was accomplished, and it was accomplished to the best of his ability, which was outstanding. Not just satisfactory, it was outstanding. He had initiative. Initiative goes with the ideas, he was a self-starter. He didn't have to have somebody tell him to do something, request him to do something. He did it. And, he made sure it was done in a proper manner. Dependability. Again, he said it was done, it was done. He had tact. Working with the students, the faculty, and, the parents of the students going through. Justice.
Mr. Metz, I hate to interrupt you, but you've been about 6 minutes right now, so.
Okay, I'll be done in just about 15 seconds
Thank you.
here. Enthusiasm and bearing. When he wore the uniform, he looked good, he presented himself, and he expected the cadets to do likewise. Unselfishness, he did things, he spent money out of his own pocket to get things done. He did things out of logos and more, plaques and other aspects. Loyalty and judgment, the 14 things. I think you have a very outstanding Marine and an outstanding instructor. I think you should reconsider and think about keeping him and giving him some assistance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service. We had Jason and Griffin Lee, but I think that was for the award. They're not here to speak, are they? Okay. They just signed their own sheet. Brings us down to Mr. Bostain.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is John Bostain. I'm a Glynn County resident. I am a U.S. Navy veteran, and I have served the law enforcement profession for nearly 25 years. I am also the parent of an ROTC student here at Glynn Academy. I want to start by saying I think the board made an excellent decision in hiring Master Sergeant Harrison, so I give credit to the board and give credit to Mr. Blackstone for making that selection. In less than a year that he's been here, the amazing things that he has done have not been done in our ROTC unit for a very long time. One of the very first things that Master Sergeant Harrison did when he arrived is he took members of our unit, our cadets, down to Palm Bay, Florida, and they went down to see an award-winning ROTC unit. And it was to inspire them so they knew what it looked like, and also inspire them so that they knew what they were capable of. He took them down there to show them how good they could be. That unit this year has mastered 1,074 hours of community service. They have gone and they have replaced the tattered flags that used to fly in front of the school board. They replaced it out of their own pocket and raised the flag here. They have raised the flag at Chick-fil-A. They participated in Aviation Day out on the island. They participated in the President's Day or Patriots Day parade out on St. Simon's Island. They had a float, literally, that unit stole the entire show of the entire parade. There was a float. Drill and ceremony, most ROTC units, they just march in a straight line, and that's fine. That's not what our ROTC unit did. Our ROTC unit outperformed everybody there. That's what we have from the leadership of Master Sergeant Harrison. So now, I'm a little confused. I hear that he's not going to be retained. And so I'm kind of curious, and I went and saw Mr. Blackstone and asked him about it. And here's what I heard. He's not a good fit. So I'm curious. I have to ask the board this question. What part of the 1,000+ community service hours are not a good fit? What part of leadership and teaching these kids that they can be beyond what they are right now is not a good fit? I'm curious as to putting this float together and having kids come over to our house on our off time and off hours and build this float. What part about that makes him not a good fit? What part about having superior evaluations from the school staff all year make him not a good fit? So my question is, why are we not retaining him? He's not a good fit? I'm sorry, I guess I'm a little confused. Now I understand there's some complaints. Some of the complaints were things like, well, it's degrading to have students out conducting physical training out on the campus. Some of the teachers, some of the parents found that degrading. In a country where 1 in 5 people are obese, if you think physical fitness training is degrading, I'd ask you to question that belief. We've also heard people that find it degrading that our cadets are out in front of the school conducting drill and ceremony. That's what ROTC units do. It's part of the leadership. It's part of the esprit de corps. It's part of the self-confidence. So I'm not sure what's degrading about that. And occasionally, when students choose not to dress out for physical fitness, they go and they clean up the grounds. And they beautify their campus. And again, there's people on that campus that find that degrading. Honestly, I think it says more about the people that are complaining than it does about Master Sergeant's leadership and the things that he's doing for that unit. I'm going to tell you right now, not retaining Master Sergeant Harrison is a grave mistake. What he has been able to do in less than a year has been absolutely short of amazing, nothing short of amazing. And you know what? I maybe agree with that. Maybe he's not a good fit. He's an absolutely exceptional fit, and he's the right fit for this time. I would strongly encourage you to reconsider whether he gets to stay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service, Mr. Sustain. That brings us down to Daniel Sustain.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I wrote a little letter about Master Sergeant. I'm a cadet in the MCJROTC. Our MI, Master Sergeant Harrison, who has arrived this year, has given his all to the program. He will continue to do so. He has helped me and many other cadets. I'm just going to add, before I joined this program, I was a troubled kid. I disobeyed my parents. Since I've been in this program, the way I have thought about life has changed tremendously. So I'm going to continue. I have seen him help many seniors who had no plan after high school get a plan. He goes out into public to ask businesses if they are hiring so his cadets can get jobs. Master Sergeant stays after school every day for hours to get the next day ready so it's better than the last. He pushes all the cadets to do their best and apply leadership in and out of class. I have seen Master Sergeant do great things in cadets, just amazing things. It's just insane what he has done for the program. I really think it's a bad choice to not let him stay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That brings us to Blake Calloway.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, my name is Blake Calloway. I'm the Executive Officer of JRTC at Glynn Academy. I'm here to address the same situation. So, from what I've watched in the program as a second-year cadet going into my third year, there's been exceptional growth in the program since Master Sergeant Harrison has stepped in as a Marine instructor. In the classroom, he has reworked the deficiencies of the program and taught us how to do things efficiently and correctly. Before I came, the class was basically a place to hang out. After the daily lesson was taught, cadets were allowed to get on their phones and talk to others for the remainder of the time. Since stepping in, the class now learns their lessons as well as lessons on how to succeed in life, lead, and how to perform their duty in the program. With the previous Marine instructor, we are restricted to only the school grounds. However, Master Sergeant expands the program out into the community. Not only has Master Sergeant Harrison improved the classroom, but he has also improved activities outside the school grounds. Master Sergeant has set up many community service and voluntary events for the cadets, such as cleaning up equipment at Anytime Fitness and preparing the A Taste of Glynn event at the King and Prince Beach and Golf Resort. Besides getting the cadets together to assist the community, he has also brought us together to have fun and boost the morale of the company. Such as the time that Master Sergeant set up a day for cadets to go on a trip out of town to play paintball. Master Sergeant Harrison displays excellent qualities of leadership as the Marine instructor. He has shown that he is unselfish through dedicating his time on and off the job to making the program successful, setting up events in and out of the classroom. He also shows great enthusiasm as he comes to work excited and full of energy, ready to instruct and develop the leadership skills of the cadets in JROTC. Master Sergeant possesses extensive knowledge of the values of leadership and instills us with that information to make us successful leaders. Master Sergeant Harrison is an amazing leader that has brought JROTC at Glynn Academy to a new level. He has improved the program's activities both inside and outside of the classroom. He has also shown that he can bring the cadets together to serve our community for the better. Master Sergeant displays qualities of a leader that make him great at his position. It would be very difficult to find a leader more fit for the job of our Marine instructor than him. To not renew Master Sergeant Harrison's contract for the next school year would be a great disservice to the JROTC program, Glynn Academy, and the Glynn County community as a whole. Thank you.
Mr. Carter Jules?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Carter Jules, and I would like to start a nonprofit called Project Niceties. At Project Niceties, I will be providing the necessary sanitary products that any adolescent girl might need as their body changes. This includes discreet products such as tampons, pads, and deodorant that can be found in the school's office, the school's nurse's office. I will also be providing weekend supplies that girls can take home over the weekends and holidays. To make sure Project Niceties is always meeting the needs of the underprivileged girls, I will stay in contact with the school nurse to make sure that they have everything they need. Each month I will run an inventory check in order to keep track of how many products each individual school needs. We plan on serving as many Glynn County schools as we can. This includes Needwood, Risley, and Jane Macon, to name a few. I hope to make a positive impact in my community and help as many underprivileged girls as I can as they transition into adulthood and make the transition into adulthood as easy as possible.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you. How about Langeline Gruber? Ms. Gruber? Okay. All right. That concludes our citizens' portion of the meeting. Thank you very much. And to approval of the agenda, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Bobbitt.
Second.
By Vice Chairman Edgy. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Consent agenda items. I'm going to throw out a few and then you guys can add or delete if you'd like to. We'll start with 8. 9, 10B, 10D1, D2, D3. Did you review all 10? Which one?
We can talk about it if you'd like to.
I think we can put it on. I mean,
D4. I'm just going to keep going. You have to stop me if you need to. D5 and D6. All of which were spoken about in Thursday's work session. D7 as well. E1, E2, E3, E4, E5. Again, all which was covered in work session on Thursday. Mr. Vidal, do you need to talk about the policy, or does anyone have any issues with the policy amendments? We can just go ahead and approve that. No discussion on that, so that would also be F1. Any additions or deletions?
D5.
D5, you just leave on?
Yeah, just a quick discussion on us managing and
Yes,
changing
sir.
our management style, and that it saves money.
No problem. Anything else?
Would you like to put item 10C?
Let's skip it. I was told we needed to, okay. Sorry. 10C. Anything else? Additions, deletions? Okay. I'll read them all back. 8 is the approval of the March 28, 2019 work session minutes. 9 is approval of the April 9, 2019 regular board meeting minutes. 10B is field trips. 10C is the work comp settlement. 10D1 is approval of the Golden Isles College and Career Academy kitchen plans. D2, all this falls under facilities. 10D2 is approval of the RFP for replacement of Glynn flooring at Oglethorpe Point. 10D3 is approval of the surplus tablet carts at Risley Middle. 10D4 is approval of the Altama site development proposal. 10D6 is approval of the change order number 1 for Glynn Academy City Engineer Building. 10D7 is the Good report. Under finance, 10E1 is approval of the February and March 2019 financial reports. 10E2 is approval of the RFP for classroom technology at City Engineer. 10E3 is approval of the declaration of off-lease desktop and laptop computer surplus equipment. 10E4 is approval of the Read 180 cost proposal with additional 400 licenses. And 10E5 is approval of the certificate of completion, which is the GA prep building. 10F falls under policy. 10F1 is approval of the student code and conduct for tobacco use, which we updated. Again, all of these were reviewed in Thursday's work session, talked about, reviewed, and agreed upon. Tonight it will be just up for a vote. Again, I'll obtain any additions or deletions on the consent. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Motion by Ms. Bobbitt.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hosey. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous, thank you. I'll drop us down to 10A, which is personnel under action items for superintendent's report. Cool.
Thank you, Chair Mansell. We discussed our personnel exec session last Thursday, so it'll be my recommendation to approve the personnel as presented to the board.
Okay, you heard the superintendent's recommendation. I'll entertain a motion for personnel.
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chairman Edgy.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bobbitt. Any discussion? All those in favor? And we have an abstention.
Abstain.
So motion passes 6-0, one abstention.
Thank you. I think the next item we have is the contract, the custodial managed service agreement, so I'll let Mr. Boudreau discuss that a little bit.
You need some help? I'm going to get to the point. Okay. I don't want somebody to take a look at this and go, oh, they're going to have service agreement with custodial management team, meaning all our custodians would lose their job. And that's not the case. And what we're looking at doing is a better way to manage it, and we're getting rid of a position. It's actually going to be a decrease in how much we're paying out, and it's not negatively affecting all the other custodians. I just thought that was an important point to
And
share.
it's mainly going to be for training and inspection services, and I just think we'll just get a lot out of this program and be able to move our program forward. And I think it pays for itself, and I think we can't go wrong with it.
I guess to piggyback on that, if I remember correctly from Thursday, we're not replacing a person that is having to be forced out of a job. It's somebody retiring.
I will still have a custodial manager who will implement the recommendations and follow up on the inspections. And the big thing is the training. We just need to be trained by some people that know the standards and train everybody the same way and kind of get back on track again.
So with that said, I'd make a motion that we approve D5.
Okay, motion on the floor by Mr. McDowell,
Second.
second by Mr. Holder. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
That's all the items we have, Chairman.
Yes, sir. Okay. Any need for executive session? Okay. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Holder, second. Second by Ms. Bobbitt. Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous at 7:04. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.
Who was that person that sent us?